Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunch Break Live. I'm Tracy Childs, and this is Jane Unchained News. And we are talking fresh stuff today. Today, I'm going to be demoing an amazing salad dressing for you guys, and we have some amazing guests. And this is an idea I have for a show, a recurring show here on Jane Unchained called Plantastic. And Plantastic means fantastic plant stories. And so that's been my passion for many years, is sharing and promoting a plant-based diet, whole food plant-based diet for the planet, for our friends and our family, and for the animals, and for everything, and for our health. So every time I'm on, I'm going to have some guests. And today I have some guests that are from the Maryland area. I have my friend Sharon and her son, and her father's going to be joining us a little bit later to share his amazing story. So let's get started, and I'm going to introduce Sharon and her son, Evan.
Hello.
Hi. Carl, and we'll be talking to you a little bit more later. So there's Sharon and her son, Evan, and you guys are all the way in Maryland, and here I am in San Diego, California, and here we are able to do a show together.
Can we trade places?
Technology, right?
We'd love to trade places with you, Tracy, anytime.
Oh, it must be nice there now.
No, it's actually kind of gray at the moment.
Oh, is it?
But the weather's warmer, so we're happy with that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So I've known Sharon. She's a Food for Life instructor with me, and she's going to share with you one of her favorite go-to recipes for her family. She's been living this lifestyle, and she has a lot to share. So I'm going to just go ahead and let Sharon take it away, and then when we come back after she's done, I will share with you guys a really delicious, easy, super go-to salad dressing that I love to make. So, all right, welcome, Sharon.
Thank you. Excited to be here. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I am a plant-based certified health coach and also a Food for Life instructor, as Tracy said. And I made this transition about 11 years ago, mainly because I was inspired to eat healthfully all along the way. My family is full of cancer, unfortunately. My mom succumbed to breast cancer in 2009. And that was when I began my journey. I was already a vegetarian, but I began my journey towards veganism at that time. And then I learned about T. Colin Campbell's book, The China Study, and found out that dairy, casein in the dairy, was a very potent cancer promoter. And that's what inspired me to change the diet of my kids. This is my son, Evan. It's very strange to look up to him now, but he was my little boy at the time. And he was 6 years old. And my twin daughters, Marcy and Tess, were 10 at the time. And when I read that book, I knew I had to take dairy out of their diet. So I was someone, even though I'm a cooking instructor now, who absolutely hated to cook. And I have to admit, there are still days where I don't love it. But I knew I had to learn to love it, and I had to do it. And as things stand right now, I'm cooking for a family of 5. We're all at home since the quarantine began. And so we go through a lot of food, don't we? So one of the things that's made my life so much easier is having the right kitchen appliances. And this is one of our favorite appliances. This is called the Instant Pot. It is a multi-purpose pot. It's a pressure cooker, a slow cooker, a warmer, a steamer. It sautés, and it's also a rice cooker. You can use it to cook any grain.
You can even make yogurt with it.
And you can make yogurt, which we do out of soy milk here. So basically the lovely thing about the Instant Pot is you can literally throw ingredients in, push a couple of buttons, and leave. And it will cook, it will come to pressure, it will cook at pressure for the desired amount of time, and then it will go to a warming cycle if you choose that. And so it's really hands off. It's not the kind of thing where you're standing at the stove stirring and cooking for hours. So most of our meals that we eat here are made in the Instant Pot lately. On the weekends, we do something a little more exotic, like a lasagna. But most of the time it's really quick and easy, something thrown into the Instant Pot. And almost every time it's vegetables, some kind of beans or legumes, and sometimes a grain, sometimes sweet potatoes. If we don't do a sweet potato or a grain inside the dish, then we have it in a separate Instant Pot. And we have many, many Instant Pots here because I teach Instant Pot classes, or at least I used to before COVID. So the recipe that we're making today, I was approached by a local college and asked to do a demo there. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, what could college students make? What are they likely to make? And what I thought about was, what ingredients could people have typically in their pantries, in their freezers, in their fridges that they could just then throw together? And so this is what I came up with. This is called the one pot Mexican bowl. And so the Instant Pot is on saute, or it was on warm. I've got some hot water in here. This is 3/4 cup of hot water. And we're going to start with some things that we keep in the freezer. This is just a frozen vegetable blend. Any blend that you like is fine. You get the 365. This is the California style. We have Mediterranean style too that we like. And this is just organic white sweet corn. And so we're just going to go ahead and add both of these to the pot. And frozen vegetables are every bit as healthy, in fact, maybe even healthier than fresh vegetables, because they're flash frozen as soon as they're picked, and they don't sit on the shelf and decompose like fresh vegetables do. So we've got that. Corn in. And it's kind of important to add things in this order in this recipe, because you want to have the liquid from the corn and the vegetables, which are full of liquid because they're still frozen. You want to have that at the bottom so that the Instant Pot can come to pressure. So we're going to add that first. Then we're going to add in our bean. Actually, you want to go ahead and add the spices, Evan?
Sure.
I'm going to add the beans. And for spices, we're using garlic powder. We have 2 teaspoons of garlic powder.
Garlic powder right here.
And then we have these 2 spices that I got from Spice Hunter. We actually got these from Sprouts Market. This one is a Mexican seasoning. This one's fajita seasoning. I'm just going to let Evan pick which one he wants and add a tablespoon of that.
All right. Let's do fajita.
Okay.
All right.
And we cook together almost all the time. Yeah. He's the only person in my family. My husband a little bit, but Evan's really the only one of my kids who really enjoys cooking with me. So we usually make most of our dishes together. And this is quinoa. Quinoa is not really a grain. It's a pseudo grain. It's actually a seed. It's very high in protein, and it's very versatile. You can use it in a cooked dish like this, or you can put it into a salad, or you can make a grain vegetable salad with it. It's really a versatile grain. We use it a lot. And this is a brand that I really like. Most quinoa, when you buy it in the grocery store, it has a coating called saponin. And if you don't rinse it really well, it will taste bitter. But this brand, which is called Ancient Harvest, pre-rinses all of their quinoa. So we usually buy the tricolor and the red, and we use them interchangeably. I thought we'd use the tricolor just for some pretty color in this one. So we're going to go ahead and add that. And then last but not least, we're adding some jarred salsa. Now, full disclosure, we don't usually use jarred salsa in our home. We try to keep everything as unprocessed as we can. But salsa is one of the things we do buy from time to time, especially when we're traveling. And we always look for the one, we don't use anything with oil. So we always omit oil from everything that we buy, and we don't cook with it. And we try to keep nothing with sugar or any kind of refined sweetener. And we try to keep the salt at a minimum. So how many milligrams of sodium does this have?
So this is 100 milligrams.
In 2 tablespoons?
Yeah, 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, that was the lowest one that we could find. So this is the Muir Glen mild salsa. That's the one that we tend to use when we use it. Now, we're not going to stir anything, because if we do, we will get the tomatoes at the bottom. And since they're so thick, they may prevent things from coming to pressure. So that's pretty much it. Did we get everything in?
Pretty sure.
Okay. And that's it. And so we're just going to close it up. And I'm going to let Evan set it for me. So we're just going to set it to 1 minute. That doesn't mean it'll be done in 1 minute. It means it will come to pressure. And keep in mind, we have frozen ingredients in here, so it will take some time, even though the water was already hot. It will take some time to come up to pressure. And then once it does, it will cook for 1 minute, and then it will come down from pressure. And we'll let it come down for about 10 minutes, and then we'll do a quick release. Now, we've already actually done this in advance because we knew this would take some time. So, Tracy, would you like us to show that now and plate it out? I don't know if she's
Hi.
Would you like us?
Delicious. Yes, if you're ready, go ahead. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
Can you unplug it?
Yes.
All right, so this is how it looks when it first comes out. Now, we haven't stirred it yet, right? So that's what it looks like. And then we're going to get stirred.
Yeah, so you can see how much you get there.
Yeah, you get a pretty, almost not quite a full, maybe a half a pot. But it's very filling because it's got the quinoa, the corn, the beans. So it's very hearty and filling. And then I was going to show a couple of ways that we would eat this, and we will eat it for dinner.
Right.
So
so you can have two of them full.
absolutely, we have to. So I'm a big fan of leafy greens. I eat those all day long. Not all day long, but every meal that I have has leafy greens in it. So I would either serve this on top of a salad. We've got just a little, this is a baby salad in our house. I usually eat a gigantic salad, but I would put like a nice scoop of that on a salad topping. So we've got that. I don't know if you can see that well. And then the other thing you can do is just take a bowl of greens, just raw greens. And this is just kale, right? There's nothing else in there. And just put it on top of the greens. And what will happen is the heat from the dish will start to wilt the greens. So you're actually getting the benefits of the cooked greens too, which is a good thing. And then Evan's favorite way to eat it would be
Corn tortilla.
That's just an Ezekiel's sprouted grain corn tortilla. And he would put that on a tortilla and probably add some greens to it too, and then just roll it up and make a burrito out of it. So right now. But that's pretty much it. So it's quick and easy. No excuses for people who say they don't like to cook. You literally just throw everything into the Instant Pot and wait, and you've got a meal.
What do you have to say to our friend who was asking about being afraid of pressure cooking?
Well, you know, I understand that because the stovetop ones, there were all kinds of horror stories about how they would explode. And I remember when I was young, my grandmother used to use a pressure cooker to cook green beans. And one time that did happen. However, the Instant Pot and the electric pressure cookers that are on the market today have all kinds of safety features built in. And the lid will not open if it's at pressure. You literally cannot open it. So I feel so comfortable with these that our kids started using them when we first got them, which was probably 5 years ago. And we have never, I've not heard of any accidents like that. As long as you're careful about not opening the lid and leaning over the pot, or when you release the pressure, leaning into the steam, then you shouldn't have any problems with burning. It has this great feature where you can put the lid into this hinge here. So that shouldn't get in your way. But honestly, there's so many safety features built in that you really don't need to worry as much about it as you used to, as the old days when we were using the stovetop cookers.
Yeah, so I got mine mainly just for cooking beans. And I branched into doing other recipes. It's good to have a recipe to get started with, to add the right amount of liquid. It's a little different than regular cooking on the stove because it doesn't evaporate, right? It doesn't really evaporate like if you're making a soup. So you could add less liquid.
Correct. So if you're translating a recipe from a stovetop to a pressure cooker, you usually have to cut down on the liquid and maybe increase the spices because the spices get a little weak when they're cooked in a pressure cooker. But we've taken so many recipes like that, you know, from all kinds of cookbook authors and just adapted them to the Instant Pot. And it really, it just makes life so much easier because, again, you don't have to stand there for hours stirring and waiting for things to boil and that sort of thing. You just throw it in and go.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. That's what I like about for the beans, especially because beans cook down and then you need to keep adding more water. You want to make sure that they don't lose all their water. And then so, you know, that takes longer to cook on the stove. So, yeah, I love the simplicity of doing that. And I just use my guide. I have a guide that came with it. And then I figure out how much, you know, to go with beans. And then, of course, sometimes it's different than what they say, but you just take it.
What I found is it's almost always different than what they say in the manual. And I won't need to insult the Instant Pot people. I love them. But I have to say that the guide that I follow is Jill Nussenau's recommendations. She has some great books out there, and she's got a cooking chart, and her charts have been impeccable for us. So we always use those. In addition to making beans, we make all kinds of grains in the Instant Pot. My husband makes his oatmeal every day. What else do we make in the Instant Pot? Gosh, every we love Mexican and Indian dishes the most. So we make all kinds of chilies and curries and all kinds of soups and stews. And we can make sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot too. When we're traveling, we do that instead of using our air fryer. But it's really just such a versatile machine. My daughter makes her soy yogurt in there all the time. And I don't know what we would do without it. Fortunately, we have enough of them that if one broke, we would be covered. But with their use,
I love the yogurt feature. I don't eat a lot of yogurt, but it's a great feature though, that you can make it and you don't have to buy those little containers for, $1.50 each or whatever they are. It's so much cheaper. And I just use the probiotic powder, or you can use some yogurt and just like making regular yogurt, but you can just make soy milk.
Right. We use capsules. We have the capsules and we just break them open and put them in. But my daughter loves it as salad topping. So she uses that almost every single day, which is, it's healthy. It's great. Tastes a lot.
Well, I'm going to make a salad dressing, but I wanted to just ask Evan real quick, about your experience with this and how it went at the beginning and how it's going now. You were, what did she say? You were 10?
No, I was 6 years old.
So you're 6, so you're younger.
Yeah.
But do you remember when you switched over to more of a plant-based diet?
Yeah. So when it happened, it was a really difficult adjustment at first because I was raised vegetarian from birth, and I was so used to all of this dairy in my diet. It was I was attached to it, and when I was told you know what, you're not going to have this anymore, I was terrified. What are we going to eat? I was crying. My sisters were too. Now, the ironic thing is that I later found out that I'm actually lactose intolerant. Pretty much every time that I had ice creams and stuff, I would throw up after. And we were always thinking, whoa, why did that happen? But lactose intolerant. So
yeah, we're not baby cows, are we?
Yeah, no. So it was a little bit difficult to adjust at first. It definitely helped to have kind of transition foods. We used to have processed diet cheese and stuff. Now, I wouldn't recommend that today because it has oil and salt and stuff in it. But it was good to help the initial transition. And then from there, we were able to kind of adjust into more healthy ways of eating. It definitely helped to have things like Chef AJ's unprocessed cookbook. We used to make a lot of desserts and other dishes from that, which definitely helped kind of say we can make a lot of the same stuff that we used to have in a much healthier way just with plants. There's so much opportunity. There's such a broad palette. So and now it's the best decision I think I've ever made. I'm really happy with how I am feeling, health-wise, and I credit all that to the plant-based diet.
That's great. Yeah, my kids were raised vegetarian, and we became vegan in, I became vegan in 1990, but and my husband, Steven, was vegetarian. He became vegetarian when we got married, so the kids were vegetarian. But then when he became vegan in 2000, they decided to follow along with their dad and with me. And they were 5 and 10 then, so about the same ages. And they did make that decision on their own. And yeah, they love it. They've gone back and forth with going to college and things like that, but they love the vegan lifestyle too. And that's one thing that you pointed out is just, once you find these recipes and you find a new way of cooking, that's one thing that people have to understand or wrap their head around is that, there's a new way. And the old way may not serve you. So, yeah, that's great.
And also,
so, okay, let me go ahead and get this switched over. And I'll demo my salad dressing real quick. And see if we got any comments here. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna sit down here. So I wanted to show you guys a really quick dressing. So here's my salad that I'm gonna be having for lunch. And I love using lots of color and just showing and just enjoying a nice fresh salad for lunch every day. And I wanted to share with you guys some things that I add to make it a little more filling and more of a meal is, always these, you can add some beans to your salad. And I just think you should make your salads pop with whatever you enjoy and whatever, it's going to make it enjoyable for you. And you can add some seeds to it. So let's go ahead and add some seeds to it. So these are pumpkin seeds that are amazing. And we've been growing in our garden some cucumbers. Yeah, look at how crazy they are. And they're so much fun. And I also want to add in here is some sprouts. I love to sprout legumes, and that's another way to add protein. These are lentil sprouts. And they're add a nice crunch, super easy. You just soak the lentils, soak the dry lentils, and put them in your sieve. And they make an amazing topping for your salad too. And have you guys ever gotten into sprouts there?
Yeah, we sprout broccoli.
You do broccoli sprouts?
Broccoli sprouts all the time. Sometimes mung bean and lentil.
Yeah, those are the, to me, those are super easy. I'm a completely different animal, but yeah, super easy. So this is my creamy green goodness dressing, and I entered this in a contest with my Plan Diego group here, our meetup, and we had a dressing cook-off. It was so much fun, and I got second place. So, of course, the cheesy one won, but but I like just showing that you can make a dressing and stretch it with vegetables. So you can put zucchini. You guys ever put zucchini in your dressing?
A lot. Yeah, we put zucchini, carrots, tomatoes, peppers.
Oh, cool. All right. So yeah, I usually add about a cup of zucchini into my blender. And then I'm going to add some hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are so creamy, and they have omega-3 fatty acids. And they just blend right up. So instead of adding like a soy milk or something like that to it, you can add your seeds or cashews and water. So I'm going to go ahead and add the water. That's going to go with these hemp seeds. And zucchini, surprisingly, people don't realize how much water it has in it. So that's actually going to add water to our dressing too. Okay, and some lemon juice. So we've been growing lemons here, and there's our Meyer lemon, lots of lemons. All right. So it's going to be green, guys, because you've got zucchini in it. I'm going to add some Dijon mustard. So just some flavor, whatever flavors. I like adding Dijon or some miso. Do you guys make your own dressings usually there?
A lot, yeah. We kind of make it up as we go. We just say.
Yeah, that's what I like doing, just the favorite flavors. Another would be a little bit of Bragg's. Sky's the limit, right?
Do a lot of vinegars in ours.
Why? Oh, vinegars, yeah. I like adding, apple cider vinegar is so good. Here's some garlic. Guess what? In the Vitamix, you don't necessarily have to peel. If you're just using like one clove, toss it in. That spin's not going to hurt you. Sometimes I add some seeds, like these are the pumpkin seeds. Let's see, what else? Oh, and some dates. This is my favorite sweetener is dates, and when I make my cookies, I use dates to sweeten those. So now, let's go ahead and find my lid. All right, so this shouldn't take very long, hopefully. You guys see it? We always do the blender dance here. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is my cilantro. Look at this beautiful cilantro. I'm going to add a little cilantro to it. I'm just going to pulse that in so we get a little texture. This has already been rinsed. And see how I keep my cilantro just on the counter. You can, I like to either wash it and cut it up a little bit and put it in a container and just try to keep it dry, or just rinse it a little bit and keep it on the counter like this. And just grab some. So just like a handful thrown in here in the top. You guys see that? Okay. And pulse that in. All right. So now we have have a beautiful dressing. I'm going to show you guys how beautiful it is. So see how creamy that is, right? So we didn't add any cream or milk or cheese. We just added hemp seeds, and zucchini is creamy too. And then you can just dress up your salad. And like I said, just make it your own. And one other favorite that makes your salad pop is a little bit of olives if you want. Garden tomatoes. So, oh, and another favorite is artichoke hearts. A little high in sodium, but they're all right. So, what do you guys think?
Looks amazing.
All right, so let's see, how do we do this? Let's see. So here we are. And now I want to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about Carl's, your dad's story. So let's see, I'm going to use my skills here and add him in. There he is. Hi, Carl.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So welcome.
Thank you.
And were you able to watch the demos?
Yep.
Yeah, you gonna make those things now?
Oh, sure.
We got him an Instant Pot. He won't use it.
Oh, just throw stuff in, Carl.
That's what they say. But
Yeah. All right, so so Carl has a great story. I heard about this on social media when Sharon was sharing it, and I was blown away, guys. So you're first. Let's go ahead and let's see how I can do this. I'll remove myself, so I won't be in here, but I want you to go ahead and just share a little bit about how it started, and then I'll be back.
okay, Sharon, you want to start or you want me to
No,
start?
you start. It's your story.
Okay, it's my story, but you created it. But anyhow, my wife passed away 11 years ago after a 26-year battle with breast cancer. And Sharon was firmly convinced that if my wife had eaten differently, that she would still be here today. And quite frankly, now that I've seen what I've seen, I agree with her 100%. Anyhow, Sharon kept getting on me about after my wife passed away, I'd eat. I was always brought up to eat a big portion of meat and 2 small portions of vegetables every day. But the vegetables weren't important, the meat was. And that's the way I was always raised. Well, when my wife passed away, I started eating meat almost every night because it was the easiest thing in the world to do. You want to make a hamburger, you make a steak, you just throw it in the oven and that's it. So that's what my meals would consist of. And Sharon kept beating on me, stop eating meat, stop eating meat, stop eating meat. And I couldn't take it anymore. I said, the only way to shut her up is to prove her wrong. Because Sharon always says I'm the most stubborn man in the world, but she's the most stubborn woman in the world, I'll tell you. But anyhow, the only way to shut her up, I had a physical coming up in a month. So I told Sharon, I said, for 1 month, I'm not going to eat any meat. We're going to go to the doctor. And when the doctor says everything's the same, just keep doing what you're doing and everything's okay. I said, we're going to go to Burger King. You're going to get me a big Whopper. You're going to pay for it and you're going to sit there and watch me eat it. She said that was a deal. She was willing to do that if it didn't work. And I thought, sure, I was going to get myself a free Whopper and shut my daughter up. But anyhow, it didn't work out that way. What happened was after 3 weeks, I went to the doctor. I went for blood work. And after the 4th week, I went for a complete physical. At the time, I was suffering from, you name it, I had it. I had high blood pressure. I had high cholesterol. I had reflux. I had arthritis. I had migraine headaches. I had depression. I had gout. You name it, I had it. And I was taking about 10, 12 medicines a day to stay alive. I also had, I have kidney cancer. I only have 1 kidney. And my health was just going downhill, and I was going down with it rapidly. But anyhow, for 3 weeks, I didn't eat any meat. I took the blood work, and then the 4th week, I didn't eat any meat. And we went back to the doctor for the physical. The doctor examined me. And he's looking at the chart for the blood work, and he comes back to me and he says, what have you been doing, Carl? I said, what are you talking about? He says, what have you been doing? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I almost forgotten about it. It was no big deal anymore at that point. And he says, don't give me that kind of stuff. He says, you lost 15 pounds, your blood pressure went down 20 points, your cholesterol went down 40 points. Don't tell me you're doing nothing. So I lost my bet, and here I am today. But anyhow, I'm now off of all the medicines. I came off every one of them. And it's been going on 8 years now. And I was able to come off of all those medicines. I only take one medicine now, and that's for something totally unrelated. And everything else is fine. And here I am. So,
Walking 5 miles a day, right?
yeah, I walk 5 miles a day, including today. I've already walked my 5 today. Well, actually, I'm lying. I walked 4.8 today because I had to come home earlier. But yes, I do walk 5 miles a day, and I'm still full of life. I had a heart attack, they call it the Widowmaker, which is the most deadly heart attack for a man. And I survived it. I went in 12 o'clock in the afternoon, put 2 stents in, went home 12 o'clock the next day. So the doctor couldn't believe it either.
Talk about your history with smoking.
I smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day, and nonstop. You never saw me without a cigarette and a cup of coffee. And I worked very long hours, 12, 14, 16-hour days, and always constantly smoking. I did everything in my life that you shouldn't do, and very few things that you should do. I was in the printing business. I used tons and tons of different carcinogenic chemicals and all. And it's a miracle I'm even here today. But in fact, about 2 years ago, I went to the doctor, and he checked my kidney function. And he said, he's never seen this happen before. I said, what are you talking about? He says, you only have one kidney, and your kidney function is great. He said, when you only have one kidney, your kidney function always goes down. Yours went up. He says, I've never seen that happen before. And then he said to me, you owe your daughter your life. So thanks, Sharon.
Oh,
But
makes everyone cry.
well, it's true though.
Always get a little choked up over that, but it is true. And I wish I could have done the same for my mom. And that's why, even though I have to admit I don't like the camera, but that's why I do this, is because I want to help as many people as I possibly can, not to suffer needlessly. I tried for many years to get him to listen to me, and I didn't know the full truth until after my mom passed. But I have a lot of regrets. I wish I would have known sooner. And now that
we can How Foods Fight Cancer classes with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And it's such a great education. And it's just your everyday foods, but just trading one for the other, really just shopping in a different place, different way of looking at food, and making choices can make such a huge difference. And your story just shows how resilient the body is, no matter how old you are, whatever age you are. If you're giving it the right fuel, then you can start to, turn things around for yourself.
That's absolutely correct.
Dad, I don't think you gave your age.
I'll be 83 years old July 30th.
Wow.
And the doctor, when I went for the physical, they gave me this breathing thing. I forget what they call it, the blow into. And the girl couldn't believe it. She says, your lung function is off the charts, despite the fact that I smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day.
Up until 21 years ago.
Huh?
The only reason he stopped smoking when I was pregnant with my girls, and I told him if he continued to smoke, I would never bring them to his house. So that's when he gave up smoking.
Nice.
See, I have to threaten, and I have to bribe, and I have to bet, but eventually he does listen. So I'm very proud of him.
There's also one other member of the family too, my dog.
Oh yes, talk about that.
I've been feeding her vegan food for the past 5 years. And then for the past 3 years, I've decided to cut back on the food, and I give her just vegetables with the food.
Mm.
So every morning I cook up her broccoli, her cauliflower, her carrots, and her peas. And I blend it in with the vegan food. She's going on 17 years old now, which is highly unusual for a dog.
Yeah, I make my dog's food also.
Yep.
I actually did a video about it on Jane Unchained years ago with a friend.
Oh, really?
About making dog food. But yeah, I do. I put lentils in, beans, different things. Yeah.
It's a lot healthier than the regular dog food, I'm sure.
Yeah. definitely. Yeah, they just, it's interesting because dogs have a, microbiome, and they're omnivores like us, so they can be vegan just like us.
My dog loves the vegetables.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about the food. She loves the vegetables.
Yeah, cucumbers, watermelon, she can senses, especially cucumbers. Oh, and jicama. She loves them. It's like, those are like the best treat for her, and carrots, and, and pieces of romaine lettuce, it's like, it's funny. They're just the same as us. It's really just conditioning. It's what they're used to eating. It's
exactly
just,
right.
Yeah, they're just the same thing. We're all conditioned with what we're used to. So yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. It was really wonderful to see you again, Sharon, and visit with your family. And thank you for sharing here on Jane Unchained. And let's see if there's any questions. Carl, some people just are saying, yay, it's so hard to quit smoking and make other changes you've made in your diet. Win-win. And dogs are the best support, as you know. We want them to stay healthy too. And that's absolutely, there are companions. Yep. And so we have lots of great support here, and you guys can check it out later too in our comments. And thanks for joining us, everyone. And eat healthy.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Eat well.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.